Alright, welcome back everyone. In this lesson, we're going to be learning about the string class. Now, this is going to be a fun lesson here because we're actually going to dive into some real-world sort of problem-solving stuff where we can solve those problems with actual computer programming code. So this should be a fun one here, probably the funnest one we've had so far. So we've seen the string class before already, we've dealt with it a little bit already, so this should be pretty familiar to us, but just for a quick recap, a string stores text, any printable text, so that could be a character like the letter A, it could be a space, it could be the exclamation mark, or the pound, or money symbols, percent sign, a one word or entire sentence, even entire paragraph, any printable text can be saved inside of a string variable, a string data type. So we should remember from before, a string is enclosed in open and closing double quotation marks. So you start your string with a double quote, and then when you're done with your string, you will put another double quote to end it. And then it contains a bunch of values, contains a bunch of methods to use with the value of it. So in this particular case here, we created a string and we named it message. We assigned this message string, this variable, the value of hello world. And then down here, we could just print out the message like we've seen before, but instead this time we're going to perform a method on this variable, this string class here. And this particular method we're using is the .length one. And I think we've seen this one before actually. What length does is it returns the length of the string. So in this case, this string is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The space will count as number 6 in here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So the length of this string is 12 characters long. So that's why when we type out the print line method on message.length, it's going to return 12. So, like I said, there's a whole bunch of methods available to the string class, more so than I could possibly provide and teach you all within one short little video. And again, like I've noted before, it wouldn't even be valuable to you. What would be more valuable would be to teach you how and where to research for your own. So, we're just going to type in Java string class, and then we should be taken right away to the Java docs. So we'll click on that, and then you should really do this too. You should take 5, 10, 15 minutes to go through this documentation here to really understand and familiarize yourself with all the different methods that are available to the string class. But like I said, this is going to be a fun lesson here, so we're actually going to go through a couple of them right now and really just get some real-world examples on here. So I'm going to go back to the online compiler. Again, a link to this will be in the description below. Scooch these over a little bit and give myself a little bit more space here to work with. Alright, so the first example I really want to go over is extracting text from other text. And realistically, this is going to be the substring method, okay? So substring, like I just said, is going to extract a certain piece of text from a larger text, or it's going to get essentially a substring, a subsection of a different string. So what do I mean by that? Okay, let's say I have the string of full name, and I assign that the value of Adam Allard. Okay, let's say I want to just get the last name here. Well, I can see, I can literally count that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 characters before my last name here within this string. So what I want to do instead then is I will system.out.println, and I'm going to say full name dot substring, and I want to provide it with 5, the value 5, because like I said, there's 5 characters before the value that I want here. So let's see what that looks like. There we go, it prints out Allard. So that's all great and dandy, I'll show you what to do, but let's go to the documentation and actually really see what this function is really doing, the full scope of it. Let's read the Java documentation. So I'm just going to copy that, and then inside the string class Java docs, I'm going to Control F, Control V, and sort of find where the substring methods are really at. So I'm gonna go down until I find, here we go, substring. There's two of them really, we can see. There's one method that returns a new string that is a substring of this string, and another one that returns the new string of the substring that is this. So both of them do the same thing. So why is there two separate ones? Well, we can see here from the arguments, one of them accepts a beginning index, and another one accepts a beginning index and an ending index. So what do I mean by that? Well, this one here, when we provided this value 5, what we were saying is I want you to go up to the 5th index, and then everything from the 5th index on go on from it. So this index here, or go to the end, sorry. This index here is another thing to note before I get ahead of myself. What is an index? Indexes in pretty much all programming languages, it just means like the position. And one thing to note about indexes in programming is they almost always start at 0. Okay, so index 0 of full name equals A, because this first position is at index 0. Okay, and I'm just going to copy and paste this for the sake of time. All right, index 1 is, well, if this one starts at 0, this one would be 1, so the index 1 is position 2 rather, and that's going to be the character D. Index 2 is 0, 1, 2. That's going to be A. Index 3 is going to be the M. Print this out 2 more times. Index 4 and index 5, we see that index 4 is going to be the space. Okay, and I'm going to try and annotate that better with the space to note that that's a character. And then index 5 then would be this A. So that's why when we provided the 5, we said, I want you to start at index position 5 and go all the way to the end, because I did not provide you with an ending index. Okay, so that's why it prints out an Allard. A better way of really doing that would be to assign this to a variable instead. So I'm going to create a new variable called last name. If I can type, why is my shift key not working that well? Anyways, last name is going to equal just this value that we did. We don't need to recreate it. We can literally just Control X to cut that and paste it in there. And then I'm going to Control C that and Control V that right there. And there, so now it's doing the exact same thing, but now I have this value, this Allard value, captured within a variable. So that's how you do that. What if we wanted to get the first name? How could we do that? Well, there's a couple ways. First of all, if we know exactly, like we can see this, right? We know exactly how many characters our first name is. So what we could do is something like this. String first name equals, again, we'll use the substring method, but this time we're going to provide it with a beginning index and an ending index, because we don't want it to go to the end this time. We don't want it to go all the way to the end. We only want to capture it for this part here. So I'm going to say first name equals full name dot substring, and I want you to start at index 0. I want you to start at the beginning, but now I only want you to go up to the 5th index again, but not including the 5th index. Or sorry, the 4th index actually. I want you to go up to the 4th index, but not include the 4th index. So I could do something like that, and now I'm going to copy that and paste that, and then tab that. Ooh, no, what's going on? Okay. There we go, and tab that in there, and then Control C that, and Control V that, and run that, and let's see what that does. We should assume that we will see Adam here. So that's all fine and dandy, but again, this is now, because I essentially hard-coded in these values, this is really limited to only full names that happen to have a first name of Adam. Like, what if the name was Tiffany instead? It's not going to work the same, is it? Not even close, no. Our last name got messed up, and the first name even got messed up. Now it's her nickname, now it's just Tiff. So So how can we sort of make this dynamic then? Well, we can use another function that the string class provides, and that's going to be called index of. Because let's try and think about this now. Let's try and think like a programmer of how we can make this dynamic. Well, if we knew that the full name is always going to be in the format, let's say we had a business rule here that said full name will always be in the format of first name space last name. All right, we had a business rule that made sure that we had a requirement that would always say the full name is always going to be first name and then a space and then a last name. Well, that makes it really easy then, because now all we just need to do is find that space, and then anything before the space is the first name, anything after the space is going to be the last name. And that's where this bad boy comes in here, the index of function. So I'm going to copy this and go back to our Java documentation, and I'm going to Control F and Control V to find the index of function. Here we go, right here, index of. Public int. We will get into what this means later on down the course, but that's our function name, and it accepts integer of a character. So it could accept that. Let's see, there's other ones though. It could accept another integer. It could accept a couple more. Or what we really want is this one down here, where it can accept a string. So we want it to accept a string because we want to find a certain character. So it's going to return the index within the string of the first occurrence of the specified substring. So what does that really mean is I'm going to provide this function here with the string of a space. I want it to find the first space, and I want it to give me the index of where that first space is. Okay, so I could assign this to a string or integer if I want, because it's going to return, like I said, it's going to return the index, which is going to be an integer of type int. So I'm going to create an int. I'm going to say index of space, and that's going to be equal the full name, and I'm going to use the index of method, and I'm going to provide it with just a space. So now when I do this, Java's going to say, okay, I need to find this guy here, and I'm going to find the first space. Where do I go? Here it is. Here's the first space. And now what is that index? That's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in this particular case, this index is now going to be 7. Okay? So that makes it easy for the last name. I could now just say, let me comment out all of this stuff here. Okay? We don't care about any of that. But now I'm going to say string last name equals full name dot substring again. But now I don't want to hard code in the value of 5. Now I want to do where the index is, but plus 1, because again, it's gonna start at this index here. We don't need to start at this index. We need to start at the index after the space. So I'm gonna say start at the substring of index of space plus 1. Okay, let me do that. And now if I print out the last name again, now it doesn't matter what the first name is. It doesn't matter how long or short the first name is. As long as there is a first name and then a space and then the last name, like our business rule states. Oh, what did I do wrong here? Did I comment out full name? No. Cannot find symbol. Oh, I typed in index and not index of. Oh, where is she? Here we go. Index of, my bad. The function name is index of, not index. Okay, I rerun that. So now, like I was saying, it doesn't matter now how long the first name is, because we have this business rule that says as long as there is a first name and there is a space and then the last name, this function down here, this piece of code here, will always work to extract out the last name from first name. Again, provided that first name followed by the business rule that was provided. So that's how we get last name. What about first name now? First name will be a little bit different. First name equals, okay, now again, we want, starting at the beginning again, but now up to that index. So it's kind of similar to what we saw before, but now we're going up to the first index. So first space, index of the first space. So again, we're going to do full name dot substring, and I still want it to start at 0. That's not going to change. I'm going to do that down here. But now I want it to go up to the index of the space. So I'm just going to do index of space. And that's where it's going to end now. End but not include. That's what a substring really means. Is I want you to go up to but not include this index here. So that's why it's going to go from here, 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 here. Oh, hey, here's that index, but you said don't include that. So just this part here. And then, just like before, we are going to copy that line of code and paste that down here to print out the first name. And let's give it a little bit of context here as well. I'm going to say last name is that, and then let me just copy all of that, paste that in there, and then first name. And let's run this bad boy here. Give it a few seconds. And there we go. Last name is Allard. First name is Tiffany. Alright, and if I change that to Adam now, or I make this last name just crazy long, it really doesn't matter. It's going to work regardless of what the input is now. And again, that input is the full name. As long as the full name follows these business rules, that's the input. This function here, this code here rather, is always going to produce the same output. Last name is all of that. First name is that. All right. First name is greatest. Last name's Eva. Let's see if this works. Last name Eva, first name greatest. Perfect. So that's where I'm going to cut the video off for now. Then this should actually cover the entire first section. There's going to be a lot of homework, though, so a couple programming assignments that I'm going to have within this section here, within, I think, the resources section of this course. And these homework assignments, quote-unquote, are going to be just kind of like programming challenges where there's going to be a certain problem, just like there was here, where I give you a certain string, and I want you to do something with that string, such as give me the first name of that string only, or give me the last name. And then this is really how you get good at programming, is you just work through a bunch of different programming challenges and figure out how you can get to the solution. So you're going to be doing a lot of searching online, a lot of searching Stack Overflow, a lot of searching the Java documentation, and really just try and use your brain, use your programming brain now, and really work on these software development skills that you're going to be growing within the future. So hope you all enjoyed this first section. Hope you loved this video on learning about strings, and go on and try the programming challenges that are all based around the string now, and a few of the other variable types that we learned in this section as well. If you haven't yet, make sure you join the Facebook group, because we'll all be in there and we'll be posting our questions and answers that we've had with this course, and I'll be in there chiming in as well and helping you all out. So have any questions, shoot it in the comments, join the Facebook group, so on and so forth, and see you all in the next section.